Hello, Christmas Flixers. Welcome back to Chicks on Christmas Flicks, where we can never have too many Christmas movies. We can only have not enough Christmas movies. I'm KL Brady, and welcome back to the show, everybody. I am so excited to be here today. For a change, I am not recording in the middle of the morning with no coffee. So hopefully I'll have a little bit more energy, but I am going to try and get through this show kind of quickly. I switched up my routine this week. I started going to the gym and like swimming in the morning before work. And honest to goodness, by the time, like 7, 8 o'clock hits, like mama's exhausted. I don't know what I know what made me do it is because if I wait till the end of the day, like I'll be too mentally drained to like try to do anything. So I'm trying to do it in the morning when I have the most energy, except, by the time you get to the end of the day, it's like, what the heck happened to me? I feel like I've been hit by a bus. But anyway, but I do love swimming in the morning. And, I'm a big water baby. I love to swim. And so, spending a half an hour in the pool pretty much by myself. We have a new gym. And the pool there's nobody in the pool. I was told that Black people don't spend time in the pool in the morning because, women, especially because of the hair. So that I'd probably be spending a lot of time in the pool alone. So it's fine with me. My hair is braided, so hey, I can get in the water in the mornings. But I thought that was hilarious. Someone Black told me that. I honestly did not even think of it, but I thought, man, that is hilarious. And so really it has held true. Like I go in there in the mornings, it's just me there in the pool until like there's like a 6:30 aerobics, like water aerobics class. And then nobody worries about taking that class because you don't worry about getting your hair wet. But anyway, I just thought that was funny to share from my week. Anyway, I have so much to talk about today. So much Christmas movie stuff to talk about today. Oh my goodness, loads of it. So last week, I talked about the reviews and recaps for Mr. Christmas, Miss Christmas Comes to Town, and Christmas by Design. I was supposed to look at Joyeux Noël, but that didn't happen. It is still on my list of things to watch this week, and it is coming on this week, and I'll try to catch it, but I don't know why. Like, I'm resisting that one for some reason. Don't ask me why. I am resisting watching that movie successfully, and I have zero idea why. This week, I have so much to talk about, guys. So much movie news. Not news, but so much to talk about in terms of the movies that came out. I've got recaps and reviews for the Santa Summit, my Christmas guide, flipping for Christmas, hot or not chick picks, which I haven't had in a while, and my very first Christmas turkey of the week. I also missed Under the Christmas Sky with Jamie Kennedy. Well, from Newlyweds, I told you guys about that. So, but I did catch it finally, so it will be in the Hot or Not Chick Picks this week. So, anyway, let's get started because I got so much to talk about. Anyway, first things first, St. Nick shout-outs, guys. As always in the beginning of the show, I always start with a shout-out to the listeners because I am so grateful and thankful for every single one of you. Today, I'm sorry. I apologize in advance. I'm going to give you the short St. Nick shout-outs only because the rest of the show is so freaking long. Like, I would be here for an hour and a half doing all the shout-outs this week because I have so much news and I watch so many movies. Last week was kind of a disaster in terms of my movie watching, but I made up for a lot of it this week. I kind of got some downtime, some unexpected downtime. We'll call it that. And so with that, I was able to watch a few more movies than I thought. So I got caught up on a lot of stuff. I got to watch a lot of new stuff. And that means that I have to cut back on St. Nick shoutouts today, unfortunately, because I want to talk about the actual movies, and I'm sure you want to hear about the actual movies. But I did pick 5 listener locations to talk about today. As always, I don't know who you are, but I know where you live. And so my 5 listener locations are, number 1 is, and I was super excited about this when I saw it, Martins Ferry, Ohio. Welcome, Martins Ferry. Now let me tell you something. I grew up in the Ohio Valley, went to high school in the Ohio Valley, and I went to high school in a town called Bel Air. Our chief rivals were the Martins Ferry. Now, I cannot remember. I want to say it was Purple something, like Purple Devils, or I can't remember. I know we were the Bel Air Big Reds, right? All this talk about the Indian names, like the Redskins got in all that hot water and had to change their name to the Commanders. Well, we were the Big Reds, right? And it was an Indian, it was the Indian chief. That was the mascot, right? Anyway, that aside, we were huge rivals with Martins Ferry. That was like the biggest football game of the year. It was every time we did anything against Martins Ferry, football, basketball, whatever. Martins Ferry is like our chief rivals. But I have to say, I'm long graduated from high school, so I'm kind of out of that mix. But I am glad to see Martins Ferry folks join us. So thank you very much, Martins Ferry, for joining the show. I'm really excited to have listeners from Martins Ferry. That's exciting. Number 2 on the St. Nick shoutouts is Humble, Texas. Thank you for listening, Humble, Texas. On the next show, honestly, I really have to go look up Humble, Texas, and what happens there for Christmas, because Humble, I just love the name, Humble, Texas. That's awesome. Number 3 on the list, Staten Island, New York. I've been seeing Wu-Tang Clan. I think that's where they come from, right? I've been seeing Wu-Tang everywhere. And every time I see Wu-Tang, I think Staten Island. So I don't know. I think that's where they come from. But anyway, so welcome, Staten Island. Love you guys. Appreciate you listening in. Number 4 is here, right in my neck of the woods, Alexandria, Virginia. Thank you guys for listening in. Listen, I love me some Alexandria. It's like one of my favorite places in the DC area because Old Town Alexandria. It's got all these quaint shops. I mean, it's a great place to go to at night, and you can kind of wander the streets, and you can find new restaurants and new shops, and they have the little. I went to some ceramic place where we painted. I painted this. It's the ugliest plate you've ever seen in your entire life. I am so not the artist, not a visual artist, right? I may be able to craft a book here or there, but I am not a visual artist. So that it is the crappiest looking plate that you'll ever see in your entire life. As a matter of fact, I may find it and take a picture of it and put it on Twitter. Look at #ChicksOnChristmasFlix so you can see my ugly plate. But I made that ugly plate in Alexandria, Virginia, and I was happy to do it. So, welcome, Alexandria, Virginia. Love to have you guys listening in on the show. And the last location is Nogales, Sonora, and that is in Mexico. That's awesome. I always love to see listeners from around the globe. So that's pretty exciting. Anyway, so thank you everybody who has joined in the show to listen. Very happy to have you on. And we're going to move into the ho 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 holiday headlines. Okay. So now it's time for some Christmas movie news or some Christmas news or whatever. I kind of squeeze everything in this in this segment. But I love kind of talking about Christmas movie stuff, but I squeeze some other stuff in there too. So anyway, let's just get to it. The first thing, how every year I talk about how the cabletv.coms they hire their chief of cheer position, and so you get paid $2,500 to watch 25 movies in 25 days. I mean, which is like, I can watch 25 movies in 25 days. Honey, I can watch that in 5 days. As a matter of fact, I do watch that in 5 days. You know what I mean? So if they really wanted a chief cheer, they would really pick somebody who watches Christmas movies like Moa. But, they never picked me, and I enter every year. But what happens is I do get a lot of email. I think they use that like to collect email addresses so that they can then use the email addresses to do their marketing and stuff. So yeah, I get a lot of marketing from them. But every year never fails. I know this, right? I know this, and I still apply for that freaking job of chief of cheer. I don't know. I think I'm gonna have to like give myself a name, something like that, like chief of cheer, for Chicks on Christmas Flicks, so that I can have a title. I need a title. I think maybe that's the only reason I do it, because I watch the movies. I'm not getting paid to watch them, but I do watch them. Anyway, so if you want to apply for the position of chief of cheer, check hashtag Chicks on Christmas Flicks. I tweeted it this morning, so it should be there for you to find and you to click on the link and apply. Okay, so that's the first piece of news. Second piece of news is Pluto TV. I have friends now. Friends that are slowly getting into I think I turned them into the Christmas movie addicts like me. Anyway, so they look for Christmas movies everywhere and anywhere, and especially anywhere free, because they don't have all the streamers that I have. Like, I have all the streamers, right? I pay a ridiculous amount of money every month for all the streamers, and they don't. So they're always trying to find free places to watch movies. Of course, we've got things like Tubi and Roku and Freevee, but now we've got Pluto TV. Now, if you've got a TV, a smart TV that allows you to download apps, download the Pluto TV app. Free Christmas movies everywhere. So I downloaded the app on my Samsung TV downstairs, and I looked on the Pluto TV app, and here's what I will notice that I haven't really noticed elsewhere. Pluto TV has movies from all the TV networks. When I said, with the exception of maybe like a Netflix, right? But they have movies from Lifetime. They have Up TV. They have Ion movies. The Christmas mysteries that came out last year, they're on Pluto TV. BET Plus, like The Sound of Christmas, on Pluto TV. Now, great mix of movies. A lot of Hallmark stuff. Right? Immediately, I was like, oh, there's Hallmark. And there's a few feature, like, Christmas films, too, like the classics, right? Great mix of movies. And it's free. Probably a lot of commercials, but it's free. So anyway, if you're out there and you want free Christmas movie content, free to download it as long as you watch the commercials, take a look at Pluto TV. They've got a lot to offer, in terms of their mix of Christmas. And you can see like all the network movies and all of it in one place. I thought that was like a very unique offering. Okay. Next to the news is Lifetime. Now, you have to know, like, have noticed that Lifetime has been absent from the TV Christmas movie season this year, which, you know, it kind of threw me off. So the only ones that are really in it are like GAC, Up TV, and all the Hallmark channels, right? So it's 5 channels, 6 channels, whatever. So anyway, guess what? Next week, starting November 17th, Lifetime is back with its Christmas movie slate. That's just 2 weeks away. And they start 6 p.m. on Friday, and it runs through Sunday. That Monday, they start with something new. Yeah, they go back to like the regular programming. Now, I think later that week, they actually have their first new movie of the season. But, so the 16th, the weekend of the 17th, 18th, and 19th, they're playing Christmas classics. So if you have any interest in that, and I will talk a lot more about what's on their slate for the first weekend, beginning on the 17th. I will talk about that in my show next week. Okay, so whatever I release Monday, Tuesday, I don't know, it depends on how the swimming thing goes. So it might be Tuesday like today, but you'll get the Lifetime lineup. And the last thing on my list for holiday headlines is 25 Days of Christmas. Freeform finally announced their Christmas slate. Now, Freeform used to be one of those networks where I was sure to see some really good Christmas romances. I'll go back to like Christmas in Boston, Snow, right? All the Snows, all the Santa babies, like they had like a full slate of Christmas romances, and now they don't play them anymore. And it used to be like at 1 a.m. they had a show, like, I don't know, sometime after midnight, they would show like one movie, like they evolved to that. And now they don't show any at all. It's very saddening to me. Like, I'm really saddened by that because, like when I woke up in the middle of the night, I could turn to Freeform and I could catch one of the classic Christmas movies that I have grown to love so much. So, kind of sad about that, but it is what it is. But anyway, they do have 2 releases, kind of adultish, but not necessarily romantic, coming out. One is the Disney Plus Noel. Now, I think these may have been on Disney Plus last year, but they're going to be on Freeform. So on Noel, the girl who starred in Pitch and the one who starred in Troll, the redheaded girl. I can't think of her name right now. But anyway, Santa needs help from his sister to become Santa. When he fails, she tells him to take a break for a weekend, and he takes it upon himself to disappear. So now the sister's got to go find him. You know what it kind of reminded me of? It kind of reminded me of Elf, because you've got this sister Santa who's like from the North Pole, and she's going around as this character looking for her brother Santa, and then she finds him, and then things go to the left there. It looks super cute from the previews, but so Noel, Disney Plus. It may be on Disney Plus right now, but they're going to show it on Freeform during the 25 Days of Christmas. The other movie that I saw on there starts December 4th, and it is called Godmothered. Is a comedy about Eleanor, a young and inexperienced fairy godmother in training, Jillian Bell. This one actually looks really funny, who, upon hearing that her chosen profession is facing extinction, decides to show the world that people still need fairy godmothers. Finding a mislaid letter from a 10-year-old girl in distress. Eleanor tracks her down and discovers that the girl, Mackenzie, is now a 40-year-old single mom. Isla Fisher, who I love in like everything. She was like in Confessions of a Shopaholic. Like, I loved her in that. If you love rom-coms, you love Isla. Anyway, 40-year-old single mom working at a news station in Boston. Having lost her husband several years earlier, Mackenzie has all but given up the idea of happily ever after. But Eleanor is bound and determined to give Mackenzie a happiness makeover whether she likes it or not. And from what I saw in the previews, it is mostly not. And it is awesomely funny. So I'm really excited about this one because that there actually is kind of some romance, but it's told within the story of this relationship between this fairy godmother and this woman, right? So it's kind of been secondary or a secondary part. You know, it's the B story. It's not the A story. Anyway, it's it for the ho holiday headlines. Still looking forward to the season. I'm still looking for news for any other stations that have. I haven't seen the Ion lineup yet this year, but we'll see. We'll see what happens with that. All right. So now I'm going to break down what to watch for the rest of this week. It's just the movies that I'm either watching or recording on my DVR. Okay. Or the ones that I really want to watch. You know, whether I get to watch them is another thing altogether. Okay, so Tuesday, which is today, there was a lot that came on earlier, but I'm not even going to go into that. So maybe by the time this comes out, A Christmas Melody was on. I literally just left Lacey in the other room. Lacey and Mariah Carey. You know that one, right? That's one of which I would call a Christmas classic. Joyeux Noel is on. I also left that. At midnight tonight, one of my favorites comes on, Christmas Getaway with Bridget Regan, and I love that. Travis, you know, I can't remember his last name, but you know who I'm talking about, Travis. Blonde, cute guy. So anyway, Tuesday, that's what's happening. On Wednesday, I think we got about 5 or 6 really good ones here. I feel like it's kind of diversity day on Hallmark Movies and Mysteries because they've kind of got like back-to-back kind of diverse movies. The Christmas Train, which of course, you know, Danny Glover was in. Sugar Plum Twist, the ballet with the Latina take on the Sugar Plum Fairy. And The Christmas Doctor, right? With Holly Robinson, who plays let me tell you something. I really love that movie. I love the romance of it, and I love the drama of it. That is truly a rom drama, right? It is definitely more than a romance. Then on Hallmark Channel, we've got On the 12th Date of Christmas with Mallory Jansen and Tyler Hines. For all the Heinies. I'm going to talk a little bit about him later on in the show. Christmas by Starlight with Paul Campbell and Kimberly Susted. A Kismet Christmas and Christmas with the Darlings. You know, Katrina Law is one of my favorite. And at midnight on Wednesday, The Ghost of Christmas Always. So if you haven't seen that yet, you've got to watch that movie. It's like one of my favorites now. And if you want to watch it and you can't stay up till midnight, you better put it on DVR. Turn your DVR on and make sure you program it. All right, Thursday, new movie night on Hallmark Movies and Mysteries. But before we get to that, they have a Christmas cookie cutter Christmas, which is one of my classics, a favorite, Aaron Krakow, one of my faves. That's one of those movies that if I don't see it, it doesn't really feel like Christmas, right? On the 12th Day of Christmas with Brooke Nevin, another one of my favorites. The Holiday Sitter with Jonathan Bennett and George Crissa. You know, the one that had everybody up in arms over like a 2-second kiss all the way at the end of the movie. It was insane. The 12 Gifts of Christmas. Katrina Law, another one. I love Katrina. It's one of my favorites. And then 8 p.m., The Mystery on Mistletoe Lane with Victor Webster and Erica Sarah. The premise of this movie, the mystery. Now I'm gonna watch this. I don't like mystery and I don't like suspense with my Christmas, but but I'll take it on Hallmark movies and mysteries, right? Heidi Wicks and her kids discover a Christmas mystery in their historic home. Local handyman and historian David, Victor Webster, of course, helps along the way, finding his own surprising connection. Interesting. So I'm very interested in seeing this. And I keep seeing all the previews and all of that kind of stuff for the movie. It kind of looks creepy, but I'm sure they're going to make it something really sweet and something that I will be glad I didn't miss. Okay. Friday, another new movie on Hallmark Channel. Comes on Friday night. But before we get there, we have Engaging Father Christmas with Aaron Krakow. Now, you know that was the whole series, finding Father Christmas, engaging, and then marrying Father Christmas. And this is the second movie, in which I actually love the whole series. The Holiday Stocking with Tamala Jones and McKelty Williamson. That is one that sadly I have not watched yet. I know I feel so bad, but I didn't watch it all the way through. I watched part of it and I fell asleep, and then I have never watched the whole thing, so I feel bad about it. I'm gonna catch up on that one though. The Royal Nanny comes on. That's one of my favorites now. That's one I definitely do not miss. I love Rachel Scarston in that because she played, her accent was perfect. I don't know many English people, but if anyone from the UK, if you have an opinion about how good her accent was. Now, what I've heard is that her mom was actually from the UK. She's English. They lived in Canada, and I'm thinking that's probably why her accent was so good. But that's one of the reasons I love that movie, besides the fact that it's just a really good story, really well written, great character arc, just the whole thing. I love it. So The Royal Nanny, and I think that comes on 6 p.m. And then Rachel will be starring in another movie the next night, which I will get into. And then Everything Christmas. Now, this is the 8 p.m. movie for Friday. This is Catherine Burrell, Cindy Busby, and Corey Sevier. Now, let's stop there for 1 second. Catherine Burrell, we love her. She's like a newcomer. She directed Flipping for Christmas. I kept seeing her name. I thought she was going to be in that, one of the main characters, like the sister. But it turns out she actually directed that. So she came in directing. Go ahead, girl. And then Corey Sevier, we know he's a favorite. He's a favorite from multiple channels, though. He's been on Up TV. He's been on Lifetime. And wherever he is, I love him. And then Cindy Busby. Now, wasn't she one of the people that made a point to announce her exit from Hallmark because she was was she one of those people? I want to say, I think she was one of those people that, I don't know, I could be wrong about that. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think she was one of those people. So to see her back at Hallmark, I'm like, okay, we always have open arms, even if it comes with a little snark. We have open arms. You can come on back. You're going to come back with a little snark, but you can come back, right? So like I hold the key to the gates at Hallmark to let people in and out. I don't. But I just thought that was kind of funny because I was like, didn't you make it a big point to announce your departure, and now you're back? Interesting. Anyway, a woman and her roommate. I don't know. It may not be her. It may be Jen Lowry that I'm thinking about. But anyway, so a woman. Everything Christmas. A woman and her roommate. So I think this is Catherine Burrell and Cindy Busby. Embark on a road trip to Yuletide Springs, a town where Christmas is celebrated year-round, better known as my house, right? I celebrate Christmas anytime, and I watch Christmas movies any time of the year, all through the year. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It could be spring. It could be, whatever. I'm watching Christmas movies, right? I have them on my DVR. I watch them when I want to watch. I have Christmas when I want to have Christmas. As a matter of fact, I just told my son to bring up the tree and the garland from the basement, because before the weekend is out, this house will be decorated, at least partially. Anyway, I'm really looking forward to that Friday. That looks like it's going to be really good. The Santa Summit. I'll talk about that one in a bit. But the Santa Summit replay, if you haven't seen it yet, the replay is coming on Friday. And then Christmas Land comes on at midnight. I have to say something about Christmas Land, because this is why I had such a big beef with Nikki DeLoach until she did Cranberry Christmas. I have a major beef over this movie, Christmas Land. I did an episode about movies I don't like for ridiculous reasons, and I think this one is on that list. If you haven't listened to that episode, please go back. This was like the first season when I had time to actually do all the shows and list all the movies and stuff. And so in the first season, that is one of the shows I did, and that movie is on my list. It's still on my list for other reasons. Anyway, Saturday. Saturday, big day. Christmas Next Door, right? Mystic Christmas. It's like a big day. There's maybe a couple of classics, but then it's really just movies over the past 2 years that are running Saturday. Okay, Christmas Next Door is one of the classics. Mystic Christmas, Everything Christmas, a rewatch, 8 p.m. We have Christmas Island with Rachel Skarsten and Andrew Walker. Now we know he's a Christmas movie king, Andrew Walker. So I'm very glad to see these two paired up. The premise of this movie, Christmas Island, is when a snowstorm diverts Kate's first private flight to Christmas Island, she must team up with an air traffic controller to secure her job as the family's pilot, right? And all the previews just look awesome for that one. I am really looking forward to Christmas Island. I don't think that one's going to let me down. And then in a Andrew Walker double play, Three Wise Men and a Baby follows Christmas Island. If you haven't seen that movie, I don't know what you're living under. Get from under it, though, and either watch the movie or set your DVR to tape that one. That is a good one. That is such a winner for this channel. If you're not interested in watching Christmas Island, I don't know why you wouldn't be, but if you're not interested in watching Christmas Island, you can watch on Hallmark Movies and Mysteries A Veteran's Christmas, and then after that is a rewatch of Mystery on Mistletoe Lane right after, okay? And then on Sunday, there's a lot of movies playing. Most of them I've already talked about, but the big thing is a Heidelberg Holiday. That is going to be on Hallmark at 8 p.m. on Sunday, right? It stars Gina Mason and Frederick Brossier. I think that's the Brossier, right? And Nick Wilder. The premise is Heidi Heidelberg receives a dream opportunity to sell her beautiful handmade glass ornaments at the prestigious Heidelberg Christmas market in Germany. And I have a lot of listeners from Germany listening to the show. So if you're out there, I just want to say a quick shout out. And this is going to be a movie set in Germany. I'm really excited to see this. And then it says, while there, she meets Lucas, a local artisan who helps her reconnect her with her lost heritage. So that sounds really good. It really looks good, and I love when scenery is character in a movie, and it really looks like scenery is character in this movie. Also, for this week, we have Up TV coming back into the lineups, of course. They have movies running Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. A bunch of Christmas classics. Many new movies that I have not seen from last year. I used to watch Up TV faithfully. I don't know. I feel like I've aged out of a lot I've aged out of a lot of TV's movies, but I do try and watch them. Now, some of them are really good, even though, I'm older, but there are some that I'm just like, yeah, no, it's just not for me. But Friday, I want to try and catch Snowden for Christmas. Not Snowden Christmas, which is on Lifetime, but Snowden for Christmas. And then Saturday, a few movies: Rock and Roll Christmas, A Boyfriend for Christmas replays, and We're Scrooged comes back on for a replay. I talk about that a little bit later, but if I've convinced you to see that, you can watch it in the replay on Saturday. On Sunday, they have the new movie at 7 p.m. This one is called Christmas Time Capsule with Franco Lopresti and Emily Alatalo. Alatalo, I think that's how you pronounce it. It's it kind of gave me like My Best Friend's Wedding vibes. The one with Jules, with our girl Jules, right? And I think it's Dylan McDermott, one of the McDermott brothers. I can't remember, but anyway. So in this one, a woman wants to tell her best friend that she's fallen in love with him, even though he's told her he's getting married. He wants to give his fiance or fiance to be this a ring, like a ring from his family, but she's buried it in this time capsule, so they have to go back to their hometown and dig up the time capsule to get it. I got all that from the commercial, right? From seeing the commercial like 35,000 times. But so I am looking forward to seeing this, and this one I will probably DVR. Anyway, I'm going to take a quick break, but I'll be right back with ratings and reviews, hot or not chick picks, and my very first Christmas turkey of the week. Stay tuned.
Now available for pre-order, are you looking for the perfect romantic comedy to help you find your calling and renew your faith in Christmas magic this holiday season? Look no further than The Nick Before Christmas, a heartwarming story about one woman's journey to her second act and back to her first love. Nikki Wright is ready to celebrate the big 5-0 for Christmas in July, but a hot flash leads her to a sobering realization. Her life has hit rock bottom. Her successes, the home, and the car feel empty. Her vision board has been a waste of time, her job is unfulfilling, and she's mulling over a proposal from Smith, who she's certain she doesn't like. The best day of her life spirals into the worst. During a near-death experience, a meeting with her guardian angel presents Nikki with an ultimatum: either go to heaven or return to Earth and find her second act by Christmas Eve. If she doesn't succeed, her future's bleak. Her life will be filled with days no better than the worst. With only a few months to make her dreams come true, can Nikki achieve her second act and rekindle an old flame with Jordan to have the Christmas of her dreams? The Nick Before Christmas delivers unforgettable moments of self-discovery and romance. It's an enchanting story of love, hope, and faith that will fill your heart with joy this Christmas season.
And welcome back to Chicks on Christmas Flicks. In the previous segment, I gave you a rundown of what was happening and what to watch from Tuesday through Sunday. Now I'm back with some recaps and reviews, hot or not chip picks, and my very first Christmas turkey of the week. All right. Now, first, let's get to recaps and reviews. All right. So I watched quite a few movies this week. Now, my recaps and reviews start with My Christmas Guide with Amber Marshall and Bill Mell. I can't place where his voice, like somebody else has his voice that I've seen in a movie and I cannot place it to save my life. But Anyway, Amber Marshall played in this. If you guys know her, she's been in Heartland, in the show Heartland, for like a gazillion seasons, right? So I really loved seeing her because I always see her on Heartland. I'm like, what? I haven't seen her in like any Hallmark movies. It would seem like she'd be a perfect fit, and of course this year they did it. So big ups to Hallmark for getting her on the in a movie. Anyway, so the premise of My Christmas Guide is that we have Amber, and she trains service dogs, right? On the love front, she's with this boyfriend who she clearly should not be with. I mean, he is like jerk-o-rama, okay? You can't stand him. It's Christmas, and he feels like it's more important for him to be with his friends than it is to be with her. So he takes a trip with his friends to go golfing, and meanwhile, she stays home and she meets a man who is newly blind, who has a daughter, who needs a guide dog, but he's really resistant to the idea of having a guide dog because he hasn't really come to terms with being blind, and he hasn't come to terms with how he looks. He doesn't want to look weak, or he doesn't want people to perceive him as being weak because he has the cane or he has the dog, right? So it's a challenge, like getting him to accept the fact that, hey, dude, you need a dog. And then so finally she works with him. They get him the dog, and of course, the relationship, the professional relationship goes on from there. And he has a daughter that he's raising who is adorable. She is so adorable in this movie. And so I really like this. I don't do spoilers, so I'm not going to get like super deep into the movie and what happened and all the twists and turns and stuff. But what I will say is that I really enjoyed this movie. I thought it's been one of the better ones that I've seen in terms of the drama, right? It's one of the better dramatic ones that I've seen this year so far. And I have to give this like 4 Christmas trees. It was pretty darn good. And it is one that was not so sad and that I won't watch it again. So I will watch this again for sure. 100%. I will watch it again. When I will watch it again, I don't know, but I'm gonna watch it again. So we know that's a big plus, because I don't watch all movies again. I will be talking about ones that I will not watch again, maybe 1 or 2 that I won't watch again later on in the show. All right. So My Christmas Guide fared fairly well. I can't speak. See, look. It's either early in the morning or in the evening. It's like I struggle. My Christmas Guide fared fairly well. I really enjoyed that movie, and definitely is one worth your time if you have not seen it yet. The next movie was the Friday movie, Flipping for Christmas, and this starred one of my Ashley Newborough, right? She's like one of my favorite people, and then Mark Rosner was the male lead in this movie. So Ashley plays a house flipping master, basically, and she's got this huge opportunity with this real estate developer to sell condos and stuff. But she gets the call from her sister and her brother-in-law to come please help with this house they inherited, right? They want her to flip the house, sell it, get the money. However, the house has a co-beneficiary who not only does not want to sell, he wants to turn it into a bed and breakfast, and he is not real keen on Ashley's ideas for flipping, right? Both of them have very strong ideas about how the house should be redecorated and how it should look, right? So anyway, So she's linked to this big bad developer, and of course he wants the town to stay as it is, and therein lies the conflict, right? So how did I like this movie? To me, this one was like a 3.5 to a 4 Christmas trees, right? Not quite a solid 4, but not quite, it definitely not a 3. It was definitely better than a 3. And I would say it was like a 3.5 to 4. And so what did I like about it? So I loved the character arcs. I loved the relationships between the sister and the brother-in-law. I loved, I loved they had a lot of like really funny, quick banter. So the dialogue in the movie to me was really good and snappy and stuff. It's just that, we're used to seeing romantic tropes, but this like trope the tropes, right? It was like a trope of tropes. And so I wasn't really like completely invested in the movie, I should say. It probably took me a couple of watches to actually see the whole thing all the way through, because I wasn't completely invested. So that is the reason I'll probably give it like 3.5. But once I did finally see it, yeah, I liked it. It did kind of have like the slightly corny, but corny in a Hallmark way, which isn't always bad, right? But it just didn't wow me, I guess. I don't know. So flipping for Christmas, I would say it was 3.5 to 4 Christmas trees for me. Next, I will talk about the Santa Summit. The Santa Summit starred Hunter King, Ava Gronick. Now she played a nerd who's fallen in love with a nerd, right? And who needs to confess her feelings to the nerd, right? And then Stephanie Size, Stella, she's an Asian character. Stella, who played an introverted musician, a snarky introverted musician, and she really played the Christmas Grinch in this movie. Anyway, so these 3 friends, Hunter really convinces her 2 friends to go to this Santa Summit. Now, thanks to this show, I've seen Santa Summit like activities in other areas, especially Colorado. They have what's called the Santa Bar Crawl, and they have all kinds of like Santa stuff, right? So where people dress up like Santa and go from bar to bar. Well, that's kind of like what happens here, except it's not just go to a bar, it's also, you do kind of these activities around the town. Anyway, so Hunter's character is a little depressed, ex-boyfriend stuff, of course, right? And so she convinces her friends to go to the Santa thing, and they get there. Jordan misplaces her wallet. When she goes to find it, she finds the guy, right? Who happens to be Ben Hollingsworth. If I found Ben Hollingsworth anywhere, he'd be my guy too. Okay, so Hunter finds him, the guy. They find each other, adorable and just engaging, and in a world where it's so difficult for people to connect, they like connect instantly, right? In like the funniest, sweetest way, right? But they're all dressed, from head to toe in Santa garb, including the beards, so they don't really know each other except from the eyes, right? Anyway, so they return to the summit. So, she grabs her wallet. She finds her wallet. He's got her wallet. He returns it to her. They return to the Santa Summit, and they get inside this place where there's like 45,000 Santas, and they immediately lose one another. And so they spend the rest of the movie trying to find each other. So I really loved the movie for that. Can I just say that now? I mean, I really love this movie. So we find out why the Grinch character is so grinchy, right? We also get to see how the nerd handles the potential relationship with the other nerd, right? For me, like, this was so well rounded. The script was good, the story was good, huge payoff in the end, right? The dialogue, loved it. You can't get much more Christmassy than like a Santa summit, because like everybody was in a Santa outfit, right? I love this movie. So this was easily a 4 to 4.5 Christmas tree movie for me. You know, that's high. That's one, like, this is one every time it comes on. If I am like free and can watch it, I'm going to watch it. That's how much I liked it. I loved it. So right now, I think it's a contender with Checking It Twice for my favorite movies from Hallmark this year. So the Santa Summit, if you haven't seen it, you got to check it out. It is definitely a heartwarming rom-com, one of my favorites this year. Okay, all right. Now, hot or not chick picks. I'm gonna get through these really quickly, and then I'm gonna get to my turkey of the week. And it wasn't just my turkey. I think it was a lot of people's turkey, but it'll be my turkey for a completely different reason than everybody else thought it was a turkey. Okay, so hot or not chick picks. Holiday Heritage. I finally watched that one. That one had Holly Robinson. That's the one where her mother ran this like bake shop, and Holly decided to like move after her father passed away, and her daughter came back into town. She decided to move away, but the mother didn't know that she was going to move away. So she's like the firstborn, like the only daughter, I think, maybe. And so, of course, when you have your only daughter, you're a senior parent, you have your only daughter, and she plans to move away from you, like, that's kind of a tough thing to deal with anyway. So there was a lot of emotion there. But inside this was like this Kwanzaa theme, right? And I really kind of enjoyed this one. The Kwanzaa thing was why I thought it was going to be like corny, like it was going to be overly instructive, and oh my God, I didn't want to spend a whole movie 2 hours learning about Kwanzaa. But they really integrated it well within the story. So for me, Holiday Heritage was hot. I loved it. I enjoyed this one much more than I thought I was going to, because I didn't go into it thinking I was going to like it. The next one is Under the Christmas Sky, Jessica Kennedy and Ryan Pavey. Jessica played an astrophysicist who got in a car accident, and in her eyesight she has a blind spot, right? So she can't go to the space station. She can't go to the space station. So instead, she gets this job consulting on a planetarium exhibit, and the director of the exhibit wants to innovate, right? And so she wants new thoughts, new blood, and all this kind of stuff. And of course, Ryan Pavey is like the old blood. And so there's kind of this conflict between them. And, things evolve from there. So Under the Christmas Sky, what did I think? Hot. I enjoyed this one, right? I really, really enjoyed this one. I did not think I was going to enjoy it as much as I did, and I really did. I don't know. I think I go in with low expectations so that I won't get disappointed. But I actually enjoyed that one a whole lot. Okay. And then the last one of my hot or not chick picks is We're Scrooged. This is an Up TV movie, right? I forgot to write down the actors' names. I am truly sorry, but I'll come back with that or put it in the notes, put it in the show notes. Sorry about that. But so I watched it, and I'm just gonna tell you what I thought of it. So it's Up TV. It's kind of one of those Christmas Carol retellings, right? Basically, you have these high school sweethearts. They reunite at a reunion, right? Their meeting was pretty icy, right? So you could tell like there's a lot of conflict between them, but it's clear they've had a complicated past. Anyway, so that night they go to bed, they get Scrooged, right? And so the reason that they get Scrooged, both of them have the three ghosts that bring them together in their dreams, quote unquote, and so they can explore their past relationship, where they went wrong, what kind of mistakes they made, and if they want to make a change for the better. So I've seen so many, like Ghost of Christmas Always, and the other one on Apple TV. So I've seen a lot of these Scrooge movies, and so it's hard when those other ones were so good, and you see one, and you know that it didn't it didn't match up to the ones that I've seen on Apple TV. And Spirited, I think it was on Apple TV, and then The Ghost of Christmas Always, right? So those are the recent ones that I've seen. Even this morning I saw Dickens of a Holiday, right? And it was good, right? So yeah, it's a tough, like, if you do this, you have got to really do it well, because the things that have come out have been really good. So with that said, I did watch it all the way through. Like, I wanted to see how it ended, kind of knowing how it ended, but I wanted to see how it ended anyway. And so I gotta give it props for that, because there are a lot of movies I don't watch all the way through, and that I don't want to see the end. Like, I don't care enough about the movie to actually want to see the end. So I will give this one 3 to 3.5 stars, because of that, because I actually really did want to go through the end. What I will say is, this is not a movie that I will watch more than one time. I will watch it one time, and that is it. I have seen it. I don't really have any desire to see it again. But it wasn't bad. Okay. Now it is time for what you've all been waiting for, my first turkey of the week. But it's not going to be for the reason that you think. My turkey of the week is Never Been Christ. Okay, now there has been a lot of controversy about this movie all weekend long. You can look up Never Been Christ, and you can look up the comments on that movie, and you could tell that people were up in arms about this movie for multiple reasons. The storyline, the writing, putting Tyler Hines in this movie. I actually did not have a problem with that stuff. I had some issues with it, but that's not why it's the turkey, right? And I'm going to tell you why it's the turkey in a minute. Okay, so the movie, the premise of the movie is, you've got these BFFs, right? Janelle Parrish and the other girl, the blonde girl, I can't remember her name, I'm sorry. They've tied their entire lives. They're like, they have a tech startup, a tech company. They went to school together. They built this company together with this app. They live together. They play together. So their whole lives are really like tied together in this company. Work and play. I mean, anytime two women spend that much time together, like, there's bound to be some dissension, right? Somewhere, somehow. You may not communicate it, but there's going to be something sitting under the surface. And from almost the beginning of this movie, you can tell there is something sitting under this surface that is going to explode at some point, and these two are going to go at it. So if you look on Twitter and see my comments, you will see that there, right? Anyways, so they went to high school together. They go back home, and then they run into the guy. They run into the guy that they both crushed on from afar, right? And so then it becomes, which one of the two is going to end up with the guy, and then you start to see their relationship kind of fray at the edges when with the company, with how they're growing. Um, just a lot of stuff going on. I mean, there's a lot of stuff. Like, this was a kind of a complex story, and to me, like, what I took from it is it's like almost like a marriage, right? When you've been with somebody for so long, it's like, can you grow together but separately? You know, you want to grow together, like parallel at the same time, but you need to be able to do it separately and in your own lanes as your own people, right? Separate from one another, independent. And they weren't the friends. They were never really independent of one another, and they just got to the point in their relationship where it was just time for that to happen. But it did not happen without a lot of bumps. And to make matters more complicated, one of them gets the guy and the other one does not, right? And then so there was all this controversy about the guy, Tyler, who says he's vegan, right? And then he eats salmon, right? I don't care. Like, I eat. If I eat it, I don't care if somebody else eats it. I don't care. I don't care what you call yourself. I don't care if you call yourself a vegan and you have salmon or whatever. It didn't bother me that much. But a lot of people were bothered by that because they felt like there was some dishonesty there. I really didn't see that. I saw Tyler playing a guy that was just really insecure, right? I saw his character as he's been this crush, and they think he's this perfect guy who's had this perfect life and everything. But when you kind of get under the surface, you find out he's just human and he's flawed just like everybody else. And so I really did not have a problem with this movie in that way. Now, what I will say and why this is my turkey of the week is, we are in the Christmas season. To me, this was not a Christmas movie. It was not even the title. Never Been Kissed, Never Been Kissed. Like, that's not a Christmas movie. It's not even the title. Like, if you took out all of the Christmas decorations, if you took out the Hanukkah celebration, which really wasn't central to the story, it was just kind of happening in the background, right? If you took out that stuff and you took out the decorations and you set it in a field in the middle of May, or you set it in in a leafy forest in September, like, it could be the fall movie, it was not a Christmas movie. To me, what I feel like happened here, somebody had the movie Never Been Kissed that was kind of a play on Never Been Kissed, Drew Barrymore's movie, right? It was kind of a play on that, and somebody said, hey, we need a Christmas movie, and they quickly threw in some decorations and stuff and turned this into a Christmas movie. That's what it feels like. Now, I can't say that's what happened, but that's what it feels like. And for me, you cannot sell me a non-Christmas movie as a Christmas movie, and that is why it is my turkey of the week. So, the turkey of the week is Never Been Kissed, but for far more different reasons than a lot of the detractors out there have for it. But we kind of ended up with the same conclusion. So there you have it. I made this my turkey of the week because it's a Christmas movie that is not a Christmas movie. It's not. I'm sorry, you can't make it a Christmas movie to me. It's not. All right. So that's all I have for today, guys. Man, that was a lot, right? Stay tuned for episode 8 next Monday, right? Big things happening next week. And I'll get to talk about it, but the week, so not this coming weekend, but the following week, we have Netflix kicking in Best Christmas Ever with Brandy Norwood, the singer Brandy, and Heather Graham. We've got The Crown returning for the first half of The Crown. And then we've got Lifetime kicking off next week. Just a lot of great stuff happening. And so stay tuned for next Monday because I'm telling you, you're going to love this show. So excited. Keep an eye out for the Daily Top 3 on Twitter and Instagram. Although I have this new system that it publishes on Twitter fine. I have issues with Instagram. I'm going to try and get that working this weekend. But please stay tuned. Thank you to my music and show editor, Will B. He created all the custom music for this show. He's at Will Card Music. And you can find his IG page in the show notes below. Until next time, remember, at Jigsaw Christmas Flicks, we can never have too many Christmas movies. We can only have not enough Christmas movies. Please don't forget to subscribe, leave your review on your favorite platform, and tell your Christmas movie loving friends about this show. Where can you find us? I'm so happy you asked. Podcast platforms all over the place. Amazon, Apple, Spotify, Google, iHeartRadio, and many, many more. The link is in the show notes. You just click on the link. You can find every place this show is published. Please follow us on Twitter at Chicks on Christmas Flicks with all X's, and follow us on IG at Chicks on Christmas Flicks with all X's. Thank you guys for listening in, and we will see you next week.